Hey friends, welcome back to Sun Cherry Farm. Today I want to do an update on my fall full garden tour. Since the last garden tour, I have taken my Brussels sprouts and moved them from one of the upper garden beds and put them in a container because I figured that they were going to need something to hold them upright. So I put a tomato cage in there. So hopefully this is going to work. I do believe that they have grown quite a bit since the last video, and I have been pulling off leaves that have yellowed around the bottom. And I also put some earthworm castings around a lot of my plants, and that's what you see on the top there. I may try to include a little snippet of where I added those worm castings. I may put it in right here, and then I'll get back to the garden tour. Hey friends, welcome back to Sun Cherry Farm. Today I am adding some worm castings to some of my fall vegetables. I had gotten this on sale at a local box store. Guess it was the end of season. So I have already applied it to my Brussels sprouts. And I have also applied it to Detroit red beets and the carrots in this container and this container. So now I'm going to apply it to my broccoli and my kale. And I'm also going to apply it to these collard greens here. And I'm going to apply it to this raised bed of an assortment: cabbage, peas, and some Detroit red beets that are probably not going to come up. So let me do this real quick. So all I'm doing with the worm castings is just pouring it in around the plants and then going back and spreading it out. And then after I do that, I'm going to water them. Now I will finish with the garden tour, and sorry if I repeat any of the information. So next I have my collard greens, and I don't know if you remember the last video, but I had put on that video that I had transplanted those into this bed because I thought that another bed was going to be too crowded. And then I also planted some seeds that I had, which are the same exact variety, which is the Beets collard greens. There's another set of seeds planted right back there. So what I need to do is I need to thin those. Not sure if I am going to just pull some out or maybe plant some over in the corners, because I also planted some white onions in here that have not broke ground yet. So that's the update on the collard greens. Next we have the stonehead cabbage, and with the stonehead cabbage I have 3 of those plants in this container. and they seem to be making a little head down inside there. Not really sure if you can see it or not, but it's in there. And then let's look at this one. Yeah, so this is my first time planting a fall garden. Not sure if I got everything in the beds in enough time, but we'll see. We did have a frost last week, 3 different nights, and I have some green frost covers that I put over all of this on the deck. So that's why you see these little green hoops on the end of the bed. And they have these little, I don't know, little like clothespins, but they're pins to hold on. They're pins to hold on the frost cover. Also in this bed, I had transplanted some Detroit red beets out of my other containers. The other containers are doing really great. I'm not going to pull these up yet, just to see what they end up doing, but I put 3 there, and I put 3 here. So we'll just have to see if those end up doing anything. If they don't, that's okay, because I've got so much planted in here anyway. And then I do have 5 plants of the sugar and snap peas. I think that one in the middle, that's a little runt, may be the one that I had replaced the seed. Also, something else that I did in this bed and the other 3 beds is I put this little trellis here for the peas to climb up. Not sure if that's going to be enough for them, but you can see that they are starting to wrap their little tendrils around. My next container is the one with the Detroit red beets that are doing great. I don't think this is the best container on the beets, but at least they are thriving. It may be one of the best containers for the carrots though. These are the Mokum baby carrots, and woo, I'm excited. Look at how they're growing. I did take the tomato cages out of these containers because I really didn't need them in there. I don't know, I guess I had just left them in there from when I had tomatoes in them this summer, but I took those out because I'm got a project that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna use those containers in the project. So not sure if you've seen that bee fly around, but he's still around. He's flying around my head. In this container I have 3 broccoli and 6 blue curled Scotch kale. I also have some of the sugar and snap peas, and this one does have 5 of the sugar and snap peas in it. Have 1 there that's possibly gonna climb up that little hoop. That will be fine, don't mind that. This one here is doing perfectly, climbing up this little trellis. And then I have another one in there. Seem like the middle ones, not sure what the middle has to do with it, but the middle ones are growing slower. Then I have another one there. Its tendrils are hooking onto the trellis. And then I have another one there, and I am trying to help them a little bit. That one there I had put in that little hook there to help it go over there. So, and then the kale is doing great. I will snap one off every now and then and just take a bite of it. Like, let's see, that one's a little bit big. Let's see if I can find one back here at the back. But I just come out and snap a piece off and just eat it. Good flavor. Very good flavor. So like I said, on some of this stuff, I'm not really sure if I planted it too late, but I don't see any heads growing on the broccolis yet. So I may have planted these a little late, but we're going to continue to let them grow and see what happens. I have never eaten broccoli leaves before, but I'm going to see if I can find some recipes for that. And if I find some recipes for that, then I may try to do something with the leaves if the heads don't grow. And then, not sure, and I have never done it before, but you can snip the tops of the peas off and put them in a salad. So I really don't want to do that because I want to actually have some peas. So I may end up doing that towards the end, possibly. So here's another one of the bigger containers. Ooh, I see something else growing volunteer in there. You guys see this? That's another tomato plant. I've been taking my other one in and out, and I will show it to you in a few moments, but it's still doing fine. It's actually got some buds on it to where it's going to have some flowers. So we'll see what happens with that. But in here, we also have some Detroit red beets. And again, I had taken the tomato cage out of here, so I disturbed the soil some. It may have stunted the growth a little bit. Not really sure. And I also did put some worm castings in here. The day that I put the worm castings in, I did water them in afterwards. So I have another identical pot to that one back here. It's sort of like hiding. It has one of the biggest carrots growing in it, which is the Kyoto red carrot. There's two of those in there. I said I wasn't really sure if that was a volunteer from over the summer, but I will find out. The other ones are growing. There's just a few small ones in there, so not really sure if those didn't germinate or what. Well, they didn't germinate well. But then got the Detroit red beets in there also. In this container here, I told you in that first video that this is probably the one that would grow the most, and it has. This container has more of the sugar and snap peas in it. That one's not caught on to anything yet. I'm probably going to try to migrate it over. See how it just held on to that? So it might keep holding on. With the wind blowing a little bit, it might not. But this tendril acts like it's reaching over to here. So maybe it'll grow up. This one hasn't hooked on to anything yet either. So maybe it'll hook on to over here. And then some of these other ones may hook on up top there. So we'll just have to see. We'll help them grow over to that. This one here has hooked on. It's hooked on to two different places. It's wrapping up pretty good. That one there is hooking on. So also in this bed, I had mentioned in the first video that I wasn't sure where the bronze reds were, but now you can definitely see them. These are the bronze mini romaine lettuce. I don't know why I said bronze red, but it's the bronze mini romaine lettuce. And they're sporadically out through here. They seem to come up a little bit later than the black-seeded Simpson lettuce. So there's a lot of black-seeded Simpson. I guess I had more seeds of that one. But I also have baby leaf spinach, and it is sporadically out through. And I have taken some clippings off of these a couple times now. One time was one day this week. I had put it on my burger that I grilled out. So, and it is delicious. And I just come out and do the same thing with this that I do with the kale. I'll pull me one off. I love some spinach. In this bed, I planted some red onions. And I planted them sporadically where there were some areas that were bare. Not really seeing any of those come up yet. Not sure if this is another spinach here. It looks like it may be, because the spinach leaves gets those leaves first, and then they get their true leaves. This container here is the one with the most thriving Detroit red beets. This container also had a tomato cage in it that I pulled up, and you can see that I disturbed the soil. And I just did that a couple days ago, so I'm hoping that it doesn't stunt the growth, because this one seems to be doing really good. This container also has the Mokum baby carrots in it, and they're sporadically growing throughout. This last container has some real yellow onions planted sporadically, a lot on this end here. This is where I took out the Brussels sprouts and put some yellow onions in their place. And also in this container I have Hindu tiny bok choy, and it seems to be doing great. I have another one right here. It looks beautiful. Look how beautiful those leaves look. We like to put bok choy in some Asian dishes, mainly Asian soup that my 18-year-old loves to make. She's away at college right now, so maybe we will make some of that when she comes home for winter break. Seems like the peas are doing the best in this container. It definitely has the tallest pea, and it seems that they are catching on to the trellis pretty good. And also in this container I have Ozark Beauty strawberries, and I'm not really sure if you can see it or not, but they seem to be putting on some new growth. There's a couple different places that I've noticed it. Right in there. So maybe I'll have some strawberries in this bed this spring. The leaves definitely look healthier. They look a lot healthier. So the other Brussels sprout that I pulled out of that bed is this one here. And again, it's the Oliver Brussels sprout. Seems like it's facing this way more, so I'll turn them around that way. But it seems to be thriving. Looks healthy. Can't wait till it grows tall up into this cage, and then I can start pulling Brussels sprouts off of it. Again, this is something that I'm not really sure if I planted too late, but we're gonna see. The last thing I'm going to show you is going to be the tomato plant that I have been taking in out of the cool weather every night. So the sun has already shaded this part of the house, so I just moved it over here to the deck. So there are several tomato plants in here, and I have intentionally not pulled any of them out. So maybe I will, maybe I won't, but if I'm not mistaken, these are sun gold cherry tomatoes, and they are volunteers that the seeds had fell down into this pot and seems to be thriving at this moment. And I'm going to show you, there are some buds right there. Not really sure if you can see them very well, but there's buds right there. So those flowers should open. We'll see. This is an experiment for me. I am going to continue to take this in and out and See how far I can get it. Maybe I can get it all the way to producing some fruit. Not sure how the fruit will taste, because me personally, I like fruit from a tomato that has been in the sun and has become more concentrated in its flavor. So not sure if you watched my Sun Gold cherry tomatoes dehydration video, but those things were delicious. Those plants were about, I mean, they were so scorched from the sun where I had taken a vacation but the flavor of them were so good, and I dehydrated them, so they were delicious. But that is going to do it for this video, because now I'm going to work on this little project I have here, which is basically where I pulled up my pepper plants, and to keep them from getting completely messed up from the frost. And I'm going to transplant them into these containers using a mixture of raised bed soil and potting mix and some vegetable food. So maybe you can see that video soon. As always, I thank you for watching my video, and I ask that if you have not subscribed, please do so now and smash that like button. And as always, may your garden be blessed and your harvest be bountiful.